everybody, this is Tracy here to recap My Kitchen Rules episode 2. And tonight we had Naomi, Judd, and Brandi Glanville's team that hosted the parties for the night. So I think that Naomi and Larry are so funny together. And their meal is tomato soup with Caesar salad bites for the appetizer and lasagna with sauteed spinach as their main entree. And so far, Brandi and Ray J are the only ones who've had their dinner inside. Because if you remember on last week's episode, Lance and his mom, they served outside. And now Naomi and Larry are serving outside. And I can't figure out what Larry claim to fame is or what his profession is, but I'm thinking he's some kind of Elvis impersonator, and I actually meant to research it before I started the video. But anyway, there was a lot of digs going on from Naomi, which makes me think that whatever he does, she's not really happy about it. And then Andrew Dice Clay seems to be really impressed with his vocal skills and, you know, singing like Elvis Presley. And so he was trying to tell Valerie, you know, about Larry. And then when they got to the house, he and Larry started singing like an intro to one of the Elvis songs. So I'm thinking he's an Elvis impersonator, but I'm not sure. So outside at the table, Brandi Glanville brings up the Ray J and Kim Kardashian infamous sex tape. And Andrew Dice Clay, you know, he's having a jealous rage, you know, and confronts Brandi Glanville's partner, Dean, accusing him of hitting on Valerie. And I'm just thinking, like, really, dude, are you serious right now? But it didn't seem to cause much of an uproar, and it kind of like passed over really quickly. So Larry and Naomi, they bring their food out, and the little Caesar salad bites was kind of cute. It was like on, I guess it would be like spinach, like a leaf of lettuce, little round leaf of lettuce, and then it had like the salad mixture, and then you picked it up with your hand and folded the lettuce over it and then bit into it. So I thought that was a cute dish. And then they had the tomato soup in a little separate bowl, but no one seemed to be really impressed with the tomato soup, you know, saying that it was bland. And then at one point, Ray J spit something into his napkin, just being real ghetto and hood. So I can't remember if it was the salad or if it was his bite of the soup. And so while Ray J, you know, is overacting about whatever it was that he tasted, we could hear Lance saying that he thinks that Brandi and Ray J are being petty because they're in last place. So Curtis liked the Caesar salad bites, but no one was wowed by the soup. And Brandi, the singer, you know, asked everybody, you know, what was their cooking experience. And we learned that Brandi, Real Housewives of Orange County, her partner Dean actually trained at the Culinary School of Arts or whatever. So he's a trained cook, which kind of makes it unfair that he's on this show. So then someone brought up that, you know, since Brandi brought a ringer, then they better bring it when it's their turn to cook. So the main course comes out, and usually once they, you know, pass everybody's food out and say what it is that they're eating, then the person that's cooking goes back into the house before everybody starts eating. But I guess Andrew Dice Clay was kind of hungry because they were still standing there, and he picked up their bread and bit into it. And, you know, the lasagna, you know, it was individually cooked in these little small serving dishes, which I thought was another nice touch. And everyone appeared to love it and was complimenting on the spiciness and that the meat sauce was really delicious. So Andrew and Valerie scored them a 7. Lance and his mom scored it 7. Brandi and Dean gave them a 7. And Brandi and Ray J gave a 4 because Ray J said that they needed to be strategic. And so then Curtis, you know, he called the garlic bread tragic. I was like, dang, like how can garlic bread be tragic? But I guess what they were saying was it tasted like store-bought garlic bread, you know, like the Coles and the Pepperidge Farm that you buy out of the frozen food section, and not garlic bread that they had made from scratch. And so I'm thinking when the next go round, once they eliminate somebody out of the group, that on the next go round, they're going to be more specific and telling them that they can't be buying stuff from the store, that it has to be, made from scratch. So the team scored a combined 25 points, and the judges gave the appetizer 10 out of 20, and the entree scored 13 out of 20 for a grand total of 48 out of 80, placing them in last place behind Brandi and Ray J. And so, Naomi and Larry were in the confessional. She looked like she was about to cry, and Larry was like, it's a competition. And she says, I know, but, I don't like when people are made to feel bad. So hopefully Naomi and Larry won't get kicked off the show, and she'll have another opportunity to prove herself. So then we move on to Brandi and Dean, and they're a little more adventurous with their menu offering. And I don't know what they said really. It was something about some lamb and minted couscous, and the appetizer was burrata, urban tomato salad or something like that with charred corn. And let me tell you about this corn. Brandi had like a whole, regular ear of corn, and she literally lit the eye on the stove. It was a gas stove, lit the eye, and then placed the corn on the eye. It wasn't wrapped in anything. And so she's just like burning the corn. And I'm thinking, girl, you better get you like one of them grill plates. I got a Facebook friend that does a little, home cooking show called Cooking with D-Mac. And she has this cute, it's like a frying pan, and then it has a grill in the frying pan. And that would have been perfect for Brandi's charred corn. Dean says that he feels a little awkward, after he was out at dinner last night at Naomi's and Larry's. And then Brandi replies that no one called him gay at the dinner, so what is he talking about? And I'm just thinking, she is just so crass and annoying, and I'm really, really hoping that they are the team that goes home. So, okay, I said about, nobody else serving dinner indoors, but Brandi and Dean, they are serving their meal in the dining room inside. After they tell the guests, what's on the menu and leave to go back inside, the guests are like me. They were confused by that menu and all them fancy titles because they're trying to figure out, what they were talking about and what the meal, is actually going to be. And I think they figured out that the burrata was actually like a mozzarella cheese or something. And so back in the kitchen, Dean reveals that he thinks that Kat, who is one of the judges, is really sexy. But Brandi quickly bursts his bubble by letting him know that Kat is a lesbian. And I think I read earlier today that Brandi was on Watch What Happens Live maybe last night or the night before, and that she actually revealed that her and Kat have had like a tryst or something before. So I guess she would know if she's a lesbian or not. So at the table, someone asked Valerie what her weight was, which I thought was highly inappropriate. But she goes ahead and says that she weighs 145 pounds. And then Andrew says that he likes his women thick. And I'm thinking, okay, 145 pounds is thick. So maybe Valerie's like really petite, and that's why she's thick at 145 pounds. But I would give anything to be back down to 145 pounds. Then the conversation turns to the corn, and like I said, Brandi cooked that corn naked on the eye of the stove, and so I think if they knew that, they wouldn't be talking about how good and tasty it was. And Andrew was basically saying that you can never go wrong with corn, and that if they had just brought out a bowl full of corn on the cob, he would have been happy. And I have to agree, because I love me some corn on the cob also, but I like my corn on the cob steamed with a whole bunch of butter and salt on it. I don't know if I think I would have liked that cooking it directly on the fire on the stove. So the first course is out, and no one is really impressed. Since Dean had been to culinary school, they were expecting a whole lot more. And Curtis says that he thinks that the flavors were good and accuses them of not making their meal, but actually purchasing it from the store. And Kat says that she was disappointed. So Brandi got a reality check and learned that it isn't as easy as she thought it was going to be. You know, even if she brought a ringer, she had to bring some cooking skills with him. So the entree presentation wasn't very appealing to anyone, at least not to me. Brandi liked the couscous. She said that it was everything, so I'm thinking it must have been really, really good. And Lance's mom's lamb was raw. I mean, like, I don't think I like my meat pink, but I don't think I would have been able to eat that lamb, you know, that she was served. But, you know, it was multiple pieces. They had cut it up before they cooked it. So everybody had like a different consistency, different, can't think of the word, you know, wellness or doneness. Like some of it was cooked better than others. And I think Lance's mom probably got the most uncooked piece of the lamb. Then when they got around to Ray J, that fool sitting there talking about the meal looked like it would have cost $125 in the restaurant, not including the valet or something stupid he was saying. But they thought that the plating of the food looked really good, but I wasn't impressed with it because it was basically the couscous and then the lamb was on top of it, but there was like no garnishing or anything else on it. So I don't know what they thought was so great about the presentation. And then when it went around to Naomi, you know, she started talking about how she owns a farm, and I guess lambs are considered not something that she would eat. And so she was saying that she wished they had used a meat that wasn't, I can't remember the word that she said, but basically I think she may have been looking for more beef. They should have went with a beef instead of using a lamb. Like, what difference does it make? They're all animals, but I guess she has her preferences. So when it came down to the scoring, Naomi and Larry gave a 3, Brandi and Ray J gave 6, Lance and his mom gave 7, and Andrew and Valerie gave a 5. And I was like, wow, they were really harsh on Brandi and Dean. And so their team score was 21 out of 40. And so when the camera went around the table, Larry was smirking, and then Lance thinks that someone tried to sabotage Brandi's team. So Curtis says that the lamb was undercooked, but Kat thought it was perfect. So that's what I'm saying about they cooked it separately. They cut the lamb up and then cooked it separately, so everybody else had a different consistency. And so the judges gave the appetizer 11 and the entree 14 for a total score of 25, making Brandi and Dean's grand total 46 out of 80 and placing them in last place. So Valerie and Andrew, Dice Clay better bring it next week because they're the last team to cook, and then we find out who gets kicked off the show. So at the end of the show, Andrew and Valerie were in their confessional, and so Andrew seems to think that they're going to do good because his woman is from Spain, and I guess everybody from Spain knows how to cook. But then Valerie tells him that she's not from Spain, so then he says, oh, well, you're from Mexico. And then she looked at him and said, I'm not Spanish. Like, where do you get that from? So I don't know if that's going to cause a problem in their relationship, because I think he was really enamored with the fact that he had this Hispanic woman, and now they know she's not a Spaniard, that she probably just American, or she might be Middle Eastern and just done dyed her hair blonde. So we'll see how that work out. But hopefully they will come out with a better score than Brandi and Dean. But from the previews for next week, look like it might be a catastrophe in the making. So until next time, hope you enjoyed the recap. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.